Hey yo, what's happening everyone? Today's question is what made the weird kid at your school weird? There was a kid in my school who was obsessed with Mario. He had Mario sweatshirts and notebooks and a Mario backpack. Well, someone figured out that if you told him Mario is dead, he would flip, scream and cry, "Frick you, no he's not," every time. He got in trouble multiple times for attacking kids who said anything about Mario dying, even if they were talking about in the context of Smash Bros or something. This happened 8th to 10th grade, then I never saw him again. The Vine where a kid goes, "I have the power of God and anime on my side," and screams like a banshee went to my middle school. He was maybe 4 grades underneath me, but his weirdness turned him into one of the most popular kids in his grade. Kid smelled like he bathed in cat pee every day, hissed at anyone who came near him, used to run through the hallways from class to class, threatened to kill me in a computer lab because I used the Internet Explorer instead of Firefox. Sounds like your average normal behaving school kid. Had one girl in my year who had a weird obsession with our physics teacher. Then in a lesson learning about spinning forces, she asked if she could show a cool video to the class. He said yes. The video was of her spinning on a pole in her underwear. When he sent her out, she was yelling the whole way, "Why are you saying that pole dancing is sexual? 'Cause that's sexist." She wore butt-skimming skirts with fishnet ties and corsets on non-uniform days as well. Always got sent straight home. They ended up expelling her when we were about 17. Whoa. Is this the most savage girl in existence? He would jack off in the middle of class. He didn't actually pull it out, but he would aggressively rub the side of his pants and his face would get really red while staring at the girls in the class. Everybody noticed, but a word was never spoken about it. Kid always wore a zoot suit every day. Not that weird I guess, but back in high school weird as frick. Some more details. These were not Salvation Army / hand-me-downs quality. This kid wore nothing but high-quality zoot suits, with a chain and nice shoes to match. Every once in a while he had a chrome-tipped black cane. He had bright colored ones, pin-striped ones, dark blue ones and pure black ones. Didn't see him with the hat very often though. This was in 2005-2006. I think he won best dressed in the yearbook. I don't have one to confirm though. He was on a hair trigger, would snap and threaten people, suspended multiple times. 2 memorable incidents were when we freaked out at an art teacher, went to his locker and came back with a bullwhip. He made that thing snap and sent everyone running. She barricaded herself in the supply room. Another time someone made the mistake of teasing him about something and everyone laughed. And he pulled a knife and screamed, "Who wants to be the first to die?" He was expelled and I'm not sure what became of him. Guys, this dude is beyond edgy, he's actually serious. Mustard Boy. I'll never forget him. He would cover his lunch tray in mustard. Chicken nuggets, mustard. Mexican pizza, mustard. Breakfast for lunch, mustard. It didn't matter what it was, he would drench it in mustard. He wasn't doing it just to make a mess of his lunch tray, he always finished his mustard food. Edit. Mexican pizza was a hexagon-shaped pizza with sausage and shredded taco seasoned cheese on top. It wasn't at all Mexican, but that's what it was called. Well, I would call it mustard. In high school, we had a kid that wore his pants up to his nipples, so he was called Pants all through high school. He was very strange, got way too close to people, purposely liked to slowly touch people and creep them out. Always walked around on his tiptoes for some reason. In grade 12 he tried to poison someone just to see how it felt. 2 years after high school he got put in jail for killing a hooker. Oh god, this is too much. Those are some serious cases. I had a few. One was obsessed with all Asian culture, kind of random since we lived in a very rural community in Canada, with little connection to the outside world, let alone to Asia, and would lose her mind if anyone said anything remotely negative about it. It started out as mainly just a fixation on Pokemon, anime and K-pop, but quickly branched out to all things Asian. She once hit me with a textbook because we were discussing M. Butterfly in class and I said that I didn't like it. This was at age 16. Another kid used to pick his nose until it bled and then go home because he had nosebleed. He would also eat the boogers. We were all surprisingly chill about that part of his personality. The thing we all hated most about this kid is that he would lie about the most random stuff. Like he would deny that he got hit when playing dodgeball or caught when playing tag on the playground. One time my neighbor made me a little inukshuk glued to a piece of driftwood and I brought it to school to show the class. This kid picked it up in front of everyone, immediately dropped and broke it, and then denied that it was him that broke it, even though we had all literally watched him do it. He cried when we continuously called him out on it. This was also at age 16. Edited to edit that the lying kid one time broke his arm and came to school in a sling. The next day the sling was on the opposite arm. Even the teacher called him out on that one. Wow. He would have full conversations, arguments and sometimes physical altercations with a brick column in the middle of the cafeteria. Who usually won? I had a locker above his and he always yelled something stupid. The most common phrase was, "I got balls in my face." He also somehow brought koala poop to the school. Edit, there was a possibility that it really wasn't koala poop, but it was small brown pellets in a small bag with a koala on it. I had a girl hiss at me in 5th grade. Hadn't seen her in about 16 years. Recently went to a party she was attending. She asked if I remembered her and said, "Boy howdy." She hissed again. I always knew she was weird. They thought they were an immortal vampire and walked around talking and acting the part. My weird kid stood up at an assembly and asked the vice principal if she knew what hentai was. Edit, she did not comment on whether or not she did, he was just told to sit down because the students immediately started laughing. Sorry for the unsatisfying ending. There was a kid at my high school who never talked. It wasn't that he couldn't speak or that he only spoke to his close friends, he just wouldn't speak to anyone. Teachers didn't call on him because they knew he didn't talk. When a substitute would come in and try to call on him, there was always some kid who would have to explain, "Ricky doesn't talk." If you asked him a question, he would just look at you. It was weird and some people would take offense to his silence. Eventually everyone realized that was just his thing and rolled with it. The only time he spoke was when he had to present individually in class. On those days people would get really excited if they had a class with him because hearing him talk was like seeing a unicorn. Edit, a lot of people have mentioned this possibility being a case of selective mutism. I looked up the diagnosis and it seemed like a good match. There were also rumors from kids who rode the bus with him who said that once he got off the bus he would meet up with his neighborhood friends and presumably talk to them. When he did present in class, he didn't have a weird voice or any strange vocal qualities. He would talk to himself and sit in the hallways reciting as many digits of P as he could. He was a small harmless kid that everyone treated well because he was endearingly weird, if that makes sense. Then he murdered a girl immediately after graduation and hid her body in his bathtub. Edit, for the people interested in more or who think I am lying, the kid's name was Jonathan Townsend. There's a lot more to the story. I didn't think many people would be this interested. There's a few new articles to look at just by googling his name. But this one does a good job of explaining how nice he was at school versus how evil he was at home. Oh man, this sent shivers down my spine. She was a furry who tried recruiting people into her newly founded furry religion, where the type of furry you were spiritually was based on your birthday, like some freaking astrology BS. She also had a boyfriend who was into the whole furry thing, but in a really weird sexual way, cause they'd make out on the floor or in the lounge areas and bark/growl at each other, and it just made everything uncomfortable for everyone. Edit. This happened in my first year of college, if that adds to the weirdness. Teacher said to make a public announcement banning people from making out and doing all that romantic stuff on campus, because of how bad it got. That was pretty bad. I personally can't imagine this happening in college, more like middle school or early high school. She wore bat ears and a black cape and would scream her name while running down the hallway Goku style. Her name was Elizabeth, but she asked that she be called Lizard. Edit. Apparently there are thousands of lizards running around the US, and we are 100% about it. Long live the Lizard Queen. Second edit. Yes, I meant Naruto. I am anime illiterate, I apologize. He was caught eating berries off of a tree branch in a compost trash can in 5th grade. He'd act feral around everyone else, but if you got to know the kid, he was actually pretty down to earth and cool. In middle school, around 6th grade, I tried getting to know him better and found out he might have had some kind of multiple personality disorder, and was grateful for someone who didn't judge him that much. I tried my best to not get him to do stupid shit. He was later expelled for what everyone said was biting a teacher. I saw him once during high school and he, 1, got really freaking hot, 2, seemed way chilled out. When I asked about why he left, he said he wasn't allowed to talk about it, but was getting help, so that's always good. Gabe, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well. Smiley face. He always carried a briefcase, but never opened it. Sat on the briefcase during lunch, classes, etc. It was like the nuclear football, always in his hand or he was sitting on it. He carried it onto the stage during graduation, got his diploma. Right as he was leaving the stage, he opened it up and dumped a bunch of confetti on the principal. I guess it was the long con. No one questioned why he was carrying it on stage. Well, there is nothing wrong with saving confetti for a special situation, especially if it takes a long time. If anybody has any weird kid stories from school, feel free to write them in the comments down below. And if you like this video, make sure to comment, like, share and subscribe to my channel for more.